Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Brad, Dom Amori from the Hartford Current. Various coaches through the years have offered the idea that the regional final, the Elite Eight, is the toughest game, the hardest game, the most pressure-packed game of the tournament to get through. I was wondering if, in your experiences or conversations, if you had any thoughts on that idea.
Yeah, I've been in one when I was at Kansas State, and it was Butler's first trip to the Final Four. I don't know about that. I think the opening game can be really, really hard. None of them are easy. You've got to be prepared. I think there's a sense, I could see where some people think there's a sense of relief to get to a Final Four. Everybody's got a challenge. They're quick turns. You've got to flip the script mentally. It's still an unbelievable opportunity to do something great, and we're one of 8 that are still standing with an opportunity to go to Arizona.
Right here, Coach.
Yeah, Doug Bouchon, Rivals.com. Coach, you get to this level or this, in the tournament, it seems like all these games turn into possession games late. Do you find yourself calling more plays, dialing up more plays from the bench rather than just letting the ball find Marcus or find Terrence?
In certain situations, I think that we understand that we try to, in league play, we tell our team 75% of all the games are going to be 2 possessions. So we try to prepare for those and have ideas. Every game's got a different identity to it. Last night was no different. We're gonna try to go to a matchup. We went to Dane quite a bit with TJ on the bench with fouls. I don't worry as much about the offensive end as I do the defensive end sometimes. So it can get fairly complex in terms of the chess game that you play in late game situations.
Right here in front, Coach.
Brad, what makes UConn so unique and so challenging?
Really good players, and they're really well coached. And I mean, it's really and the fact that their point guard got 6 offensive rebounds yesterday. They punish you on the glass, and we try to do the same thing. We try to make you hurt on the offensive glass. They run in transition. They get a ton of threes in transition. We love to run in transition. We love to score under 7 seconds. So it's some mirroring styles. I've got tremendous respect for how hard they play. They've got a little bit of everything in terms of Castle being an elite defender. Caravan at 6'8", 6'9" is just a deadly 3-point shooter, and especially in transition. So, they've got size. And they play really fast, and they play really hard.
Front here, Coach, to the left.
Gavin Key from the New London Day. Just wonder what your impressions are of Steph Castle. He's a freshman, kind of making an impact when a lot of older teams these days.
Yeah, he's not kind of making an impact. He's making a big impact. He's an elite defender. Elite. He competes really hard. It's very hard to find freshmen that play that hard, that know how to play that hard. Usually they've been coddled and told how great they are for the first 6 years of their being in basketball, so they think they're great and arrived. That one knows how to play really, really hard. He's a great slasher. His offensive game is developing, but he's impactful. The job he did on Boo Buie in our league, and from our league in the NCAA tournament game was very impressive. So just really impressed with him. Danny's got him playing so hard, and that's impressive for a freshman.
Back right here, Coach.
Hey, Brad. Rob Dosterfield of 68. Seems like your team is pretty uptight and nervous for this game tomorrow.
We are. We're jittery.
What is the value of having a group that's this loose? It doesn't seem like the moment is going to be too much for them.
Age, old, maturity. Again, Marcus is a 2,000-point scorer. He's been in, Quincy's played in 160 games. There's nothing that they haven't seen. The question was asked, Quincy's seen UConn. It's there's just some value in that. It's not like you're running a bunch of young guys out here who you don't know what they're going to do. I know what this group's going to do. I know how they're going to react. We've been through the trials and tribulations of a long season, so you gain confidence from that. But Coleman's been 4 years. Ty's in his second. The other two guys are transfers with tons of experience. So they've won me over, and they're all very, 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 very competitive.
Right, here you go, John.
Fox Sports. Brad, when you say you've been through the trials and tribulations, what's a trial where every coach experiences one of those with their team, if not a couple of those, where you were most impressed with how this group responded and perhaps
It's easy.
learned
That's
even-
easy.
learned
That's
even
easy.
more?
That's easy. And Penn State. At Penn State, we were just we had prepared terribly for multiple days for that game, and not knocking them. They moved the game into their old arena. It was a sellout crowd. It was amped, and we didn't play very well, but had a 10-point lead, and literally watched it just disintegrate in 30 seconds. And bad plays, dumb plays, bad fouls, you name it, we did it. And I didn't have to go into the locker room and say a word. I was calm. They knew, but they also knew I was going to get things right. And the next day or two weren't fun for them, but they were get right moments, and that's been a defining moment all year, because this group knew. They knew the preparation leading into it. We didn't deserve to win that game, and we tricked it off.
Good, Jimmy.
Jimmy Golan from the Associated Press. You mentioned the experience that your players have, and UConn's obviously coming off a national championship. How hard with the portal? How hard is it now to kind of build a team that, if you look at them, they can just come back and say, let's try it again, let's run it back, to not just have 1 year, but have a run of success?
He's got a great staff. I think we do too. I think we've found success in the portal at a very, very high level, based on character, based on not just talent, not just I think it's character, and I think that you look at Spencer, character, tough, they fit. Their staff has done an incredible job of evaluating the guys that fit them, but they've also done it with really good recruiting. We've got great carryover in our program, and so we've added the right pieces, but it's got to be the right mesh, and in our case it's been about, they got to be good, but it's the right character pieces, and those two guys, Justin Harmon, have been unbelievable this year and fitting in.
Right here to your left, Coach.
Coach Will Charlton here, SB Nation. This run that Terrence has been on, 25 or more points in the last 7 games. Have you seen anything like this in your time as a coach?
Well, I was an assistant with Michael Beasley. Mike was pretty good, but he's doing it, and we don't run much to him. We're not running a lot of action to him. Marcus gets a ton of the attention. Coleman gets a ton of the attention in terms of offensive stuff, but it's I've used the term organic. It just kind of happens. He finds it, but he's been great all year. He was great early, and like you said, he had a few struggles on his return. That was just him not wanting to mess things up. But he had 29 last night. I didn't know it, and he played 29 minutes and missed 5 free throws and some wide open threes. Otherwise, he could have had a 40-point night. But he's a special player, special talent.
Right here, Coach.
Hi, Tara Sullivan from the Boston Globe. In the big picture, college basketball has withstood plenty, right? We talked about it the other day, one and dones or NIL, transfer portal. I just wonder personally how it feels that gambling has become such a ubiquitous presence in the game, something that it used to be so taboo. If it bothers you, if it concerns you, just how you feel about just what a almost like a partner in some ways. What a big part it's become in the college game and in sports in general.
Concerns me a lot. We have one of the greatest games, and it's the competitive integrity. I use that word a lot. Can never be challenged. I'm so much in favor of what the NCAA is doing, Mr. Baker, in terms of coming out against prop betting. I think that's we in the Big Ten, our commissioner, our athletic directors put in place this year injury reports before games. Huge. So I think it's something we're always going to have to keep educating on. I think we're naive if we don't think that it's not happening everywhere. It is, but I think we have to do our part to educate our young people. I think we have to continue to do everything we can to be preventive. We're not a pro franchises where we have, drive into buildings and drive into gated communities and nobody ever knows. We got college kids wearing boots in dorms, and being seen. So I think we've got to be in the process of continual education. I know at the University of Illinois we do it constantly, and making our student athletes aware of it.
Thank you, Coach. Any other questions for Coach?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow.